Right, so today we're going to be working on creating a model of the Magnum pistol from the Halo franchise, and it's rather complex, but this tutorial will mainly be for a very simplistic model. It's not going to have all these crazy details like the scratches and the lights and the textures. Textures is a big one. So yeah, this will be our reference image for the model, so we're going to be using this to basically get an idea of what the structure of the actual gun is. So kind of like the handle, the long trigger guard, the laser sight. I'm not quite sure what that part is, but the actual the cockpit of it. So yeah, we'll be using this as a reference, and this will be provided as well. So first things first, once we open up Maya, we want to open up our outliner so we can see everything that's in the scene, because that makes it so much easier. And we also want to create a new project. So we're going to go to File, we're going to go down to Project Window, and then we're going to create a new project. We're going to call it, I guess you can just call it Pistol, you can call it whatever you want to. Something you remember. Alright, okay, accept. And then from here, what we need to do is get that reference image I just showed you, this one down here. So what we're going to do is go into our Finder, go to where you have your reference image, and copy that, go into your Maya Documents folder, Projects, go down to your pistol, which will be, for me, Pistol, and then go down to Source Images, and then you want to paste it underneath this 3D Paints Textures folder, so it's in there. Alright, and get rid of that. And now what we want to do is we want to go to Panels, go down to Orthographic, Front, and now we want to go to this button here, this little blue rectangle with a grid underneath it. That is the image plane button, and that will allow us to put that reference image in. So we click the button, and it comes up with this, and see, we've got our reference image there. So we want to open that, and voila, it's in there. So we have the reference image. It could be a bit more helpful if you find an image that has a white background, but it's not necessary. We're only following the structure of the gun, not really the background, so do whatever you wish with that. And that is the first part. Alright, next segment will be, now that we've got our outliner open, we can see that the image plane object has appeared. We select that, and now what we want to do is go to Panels, Perspective, and Persp, and that will take us to our perspective view, from which we can see the pistol. This will be a good time to save. My laptop crashes a lot, so I'm going to be saving this. Actually, I'll call it Magnum. So yeah, good time to save. From here we can see, since we're going to be working on this sideways, we're probably going to want to not have this grid in the way, and one way to do that would be get rid of this, which is that toggles the grid on and off if you click that button. But I like to usually move the actual image plane itself, because the grid can be quite helpful for getting a sense of scale. So what I tend to do is go to the image plane, on the attribute editor, go to image plane 1, and then you want to translate it 6 in the middle. Now take it above the grid, so you don't really want it touching the grid, otherwise the grid kind of gets in the way. And then you want to transform it backwards 15. Now what that will do will basically mean that any geometry we put in the grid area in the scene won't be covered up by this, because this image plane, which is this back here, that is our front perspective, and that's how we're going to be viewing it. So if the gun gets in the way of our geometry, we're not going to know what our geometry looks like. So from there, we want to go back into our orthographic front, and then we want to pan up by holding Alt and then clicking down the middle mouse button and dragging up until we can see our pistol front and center. And now we are basically ready to begin the modeling portion, which is pretty simple, and I'll run that through with you in a second. Okay, so now we want to we basically want to go along to the polygons tab up here. So all on these tabs all along the top, we want to be on the polygons one, and we want to drop in a cube. And you can see that it appears in your outliner here, but we can't currently see it on the scene. So what we have to do is go to Panels, Perspective, and Persp, and there it is. We can see it there. Now I can't move this on the screen for you without my laptop potentially crashing, because my laptop's at its limit already just recording this. So I will be back in a second, and I'll be moving this geometry, this cube, in front of this this image plane. Right, so I'm back in my front view on the thing, and I've moved the cube in front of the image plane. So yeah, as you can see, it's there. Now what we need to do is actually start modeling this. So hopefully it won't crash. But select your scale tool, and then you want to make it fit as best as you possibly can to the actual structure of the gun. And that means if there's any inclines like this, where the actual stopping point of the gun, like along this line, is further backwards than this like the top half of the gun, just go as far back as you need to go. So I'll go over those two little things, because we're going to be changing the structure of this anyway, so it doesn't really matter what it inherently starts as. So from this point, now that we've got our structure set up, it's best to save. Make sure that we don't, in case we screw up, we can go back to our initial starting point. And now we want to make sure that we are in the modeling tab, this tab up here. But once we're in that, we can go along to Edit Mesh, Mesh Tools, and we want to go to this tool here, Insert Edge Loops. And then this will allow us to basically make, it's like the equivalent of putting a rubber band around the geometry, and that band allows you to basically alter the structure of it differently. So I can let me give you an example. So you want to put it on every bit of the reference image what goes out of the geometry. We want to put a loop on there. So one there for that one. Actually, it's probably best you zoom in for this as well. So it's a bit silly of me not to do that, because that's not on at all. So get rid of that. Try and line it up as best as possible. We can ignore little details like this little dip here and just go straight across. So we can put one there, and then we can put one there, and then one there. And then basically what this will allow me to do is select the vertices on all of these connecting lines, and I'll be able to move the geometry around how I like. So this purple line going around the outside of our image plane, if you hold right click outside of this purple box, because if you hold it inside it won't work, yeah, come up with that. You want to hold it outside and then go to vertices, this one here. You see a load of purple dots have appeared, and now we need to basically we need to drag a box over. You can't just click it like that, because otherwise you'd just be selecting the one on our side, and it would probably screw up the entire thing. I just noticed I forgot to put another one here. It's important to try and make sure you get all of them, otherwise you might have to go back and do it again. So basically, to be able to get these 2 points here level with this reference image, I basically want to drag and drop a box over the top of both of these, go to my move, and then I want to pull this up And as you can see, we've basically just shifted the geometry up, and either side has got an incline on it. And basically what this has done, if we go to our perspective view, we can see that we have shifted it up. And this is basically how we're going to make the majority of the gun. So you can put as much detail and as little detail as you want into this. It's entirely up to you, but that's the basic technique. And I'm going to jump through a bit ahead here of the main points of this gun. If you want to follow along, probably I'd suggest only doing this top half, the silver half of it, not the handle or the laser sight. Just try and ignore everything below this line, and get the main shape of the upper body, and then we can carry on from there. I should probably mention while this is fast forwarding that the top half of the gun is broken into two different parts, so it's probably best to just for this main part that we're doing now, just let that go as one long straight line across the entire thing, and the hood bit over it, over the front of the gun, we'll do that as a separate object. So make sure you don't do both of those combined, because that's a mistake I did my first time doing this, and yeah, I had to go back and do it all again, so don't do that. Okay, this is the progress I've made so far. I've managed to sculpt around a little bit, make a few different details. You can see it gets a bit messy with the edge loops, but that's the only way I know how to do it so far. What I've done, what you might want to do as well, is if you are following the same tutorial with the same pistol, I just clicked on something by accident. Yeah, you want to make sure you bring the bottom level up a bit, so you can actually I can't seem to move for some reason. Yeah, so there we go. So this big band here, what goes around, what holds the top of the gun up, basically just shift all of the bottom bits, all of the bottom vertices from down here to up here, and that'll make it a lot easier. And we'll turn this bottom half into another piece we can do. Yep, that's all. Okay, so once you've done the main part, as I previously mentioned, you should probably avoid doing the hood of the gun as the same part as the main actual firing mechanism bit of the gun, which is, if I get rid of this quickly, oh, as you can see, this hood thing, what I'm going around now with my mouse, this is a separate part of the gun to the actual body of it, which is this. If you imagine it going through like that, so it's just a flat line along the top of it. So it'll make the model look a lot higher standard, a lot higher quality if you don't combine these two top parts, because we can get a lot more detail if we actually make a structure what can be separate from the main body. Also, I'd recommend, I haven't done it yet, but I'd recommend naming the different objects, because we're probably going to have about 4, maybe 5 different objects all grouped together to make the final product. So yeah, I'd recommend probably doing that, and that will make it look a lot better and be organized a lot better as well. Okay. Alright, welcome back. I'll be doing a going over this quickly just to show you how the structure of the hood of the front of the gun looks. As you can see, it's kind of a bit wider than the actual body of the gun, which is the bit underneath it. So once you've made this into another separate object and laid it all out using our reference image, we go back to Maya, and this is basically what I've done here. You can ignore any smooth corners or anything. We'll be doing that after the fact, so that's fine. All you want to do here now is make sure you're in object mode, select it, and go to scale, and then since we don't have a reference image behind this, we can just do a bit of guesswork, kind of base it off the image a bit. That's probably about an inch off the actual gun, or a centimetre or so, and probably about that. Yeah, so like I said earlier, all these cylindrical, like the barrels of the actual gun, all this kind of stuff, we can just ignore for now. We'll do that later. But yeah, once you've got that main structure down, we can basically go on to create the next part, which will probably be the handle of the actual gun, which will be a separate thing on its own. Okay. Something I want to mention quickly while this is fast forwarding is it could be quite helpful for you to turn on wireframes for this, because it allows you to basically see through the object instead of having to constantly go back and forth looking at the reference then moving the object. So yeah, in the next I guess live clip, I'll be doing I'll show you where that button is if you don't know where it is already, and yeah, we'll catch up when the body's done. Okay, I've done both the laser pointer and the handle of the gun using the same techniques I've been showing you before, just the vertices, basically just sculpting these things based off our reference images. And we're gonna have to do something a bit unique for the trigger handle, since it has basically a huge hole through the middle of it, and we're gonna have to start using. I believe it is. See if I can find it. I haven't done this in a very long time, so it might be a while. It's somewhere on here. It's where we use booleans to basically take a huge chunk out of the mesh. There it is. Okay, and I'll show you once I've basically created the mesh of what we want to do with this trigger guard. And also, just as a little side note, I know I said previously that all three of these, the laser sight, the holder, and the body, they should all be the same size. Well, it should be the holder, which is the one just underneath the body, should be slightly wider than the one on the top, or the body on top, and the laser sight should probably be a bit thinner, to be honest, as it's only an attachment to the gun. Handle, I'm not too sure. I'd have to refer to the reference image, but yeah, little details like that. If they're all up to you, whether you're even doing this gun or not, you can add as few and as many as you want. Alright, I'll see you in a bit once I've got that mesh done. Right, so once you've completed the trigger handle mesh, ignoring the fact that there's a hole going through it, just create it as if there was no hole. And then first of all, we want to scale this down so it's about the size of an actual trigger guard for the pistol. So that's probably about a quarter or a third or so of the width of the handle. Right, that's good. And then all we've got to do is basically hide everything. So we click on the body or the top first object, whichever one you started first. You hold Shift and you click the most recent one, which will probably be the trigger guard, and you press H. That will hide all the objects. Now you can do that, or you can pressing H again you can do that and have a wireframe, so you can still see what you're doing. But we don't need either. We can all you want to do now is create another cube, and this will be what allows us to create the hole in the actual object. So we call this difference, I guess. And what we do is I'll bring this up into the viewport. There we go. Now that that's there, all we got to do is go back to our orthographic view and basically scale it as if we're trying to basically make the exact same mesh but not including the handle. So we just want to make a mesh of this hole going around. We can ignore the trigger, we can make that a separate object. We'll have to fiddle around with this a little bit because my graphics driver will crash if I move it using the move tool. That's about right. There we go. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to do basically what we've been doing since the beginning, and using our insert edge loop tool. By the way, as you use the first time you use your insert edge loop tool, it will put a quick shortcut to it here. So you click on that, and then we want to click on where it curves. So there's a curve here, so probably up there, and that should be enough. And go to vertices, and then I'll sculpt this with as quick as possible. Because this, while you don't necessarily need to sculpt it exactly how the shape of it is, it's usually good to kind of do a pretty decent shape, because this is still going to play into the detail of the actual object. What I'll do is, since this is basically what we've been doing all along, I'll be fast forwarding through this, and I'll be with you again once we've created this. Right, so now that we've created our mesh, it doesn't have to be, we don't have to mess around with the size at all really, so long as we've basically got it intersecting the trigger guard. Now what we're going to do is basically we're going to tell Maya to take this object, what we've created, so this difference object, and we're going to tell it to remove any geometry what's inside of it, so anything inside of it, which will mean if I hide the difference, basically we'll see a big hole in this shape we've crafted appear in this object. So what we want to do here is we want to click on the trigger guard, and then we want to click on holding shift, we want to click on the difference object. We want to go up to mesh, booleans, and difference. And there we go. As you can see, that it's taken out a huge chunk of it. We don't need to worry about what it comes up here, the poly sepal, just leave that as is, and click off of it, and there we go, we basically have our trigger guard. And if we reveal everything else by pressing or unhiding it, we can see that we've basically we've made the trigger. And if we go to our orthographic view, exactly as the gun is shaped. Now we've reached the main portion where we can start to add some of the few details. So it's up to you whether you want to add this ammo clip or not. It's entirely up to you. I probably will, but we need to add the trigger. These are barrel holes coming off, and we also need to start smoothing down some of the surfaces. So I'll start showing you how to do some of that. So what we want to do is go into perspective, and we want to go up to our main bit. If we hide everything, and then we bring back, oops, sorry, hide that as well, and then we bring up the hood, you can kind of see on the reference image that there's a bit of quite a curve here. So in order to curve an object, you want to basically select, holding down right trigger, not right trigger, sorry, right click, you want to go to edges, and then we want to click on the top right edge, and then we want to hold shift, which will bring up that little cross, the plus symbol, and then select the other one. And now what that will do, we want to do it along the entire object as well, so what that will do is it will allow us to select all of these lines, and then we can go up to, I believe it's Edit Mesh, Bevel, and as you can see, that's made it curved. So what we can do from here is we can change the amount of segments, so it can look like that, or we can increase it so it goes smoother and smoother. I'd probably say we're comfortable with about how we had it, so 3. And that's basically how we're going to be smoothing out all of the things. You can just apply this technique to every object you want to smooth. It can sometimes make some artifacts, so be wary while you're using it. Like it's added this odd kind of shape back here, but that's not too bad. But yeah, that's basically how to do both the difference in getting rid of the object, or the hole within an object, as well as bevel all the different shapes. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm basically going to fast forward and bevel as much as I can possibly find. There's not much else to it other than that, and then afterwards we're going into detail on how to do the barrel as well as the cylindrical objects. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, I've beveled most of the edges around this pistol. A lot of it is the interior parts where there is supposed to be curves. That helps a lot in making it a much more smoother curve than just like lines attaching to one another. And I'd recommend in the fractions section of when you do a new bevel, you don't go any higher than three segments, and or 4 fractions or so, because it ends up having a bit of a problem, and that's when the artifacts start to come in. So yeah, I'd recommend you bevel all along the back of the handle, the inside of the handle, the outside and inside of the trigger guard, the underside and the sides of the laser sight, the front half of the gun, the 2 interior parts, and the hood especially. The hood is the main part, as well as the body of the gun. That only needs about one segment, and this back bit here, because you can see it's curved in the reference image. You can do as many and as little as you want. Like I've said many times before, you can. At the end of the day, it's down to how much detail you want to put into it. So that's basically it for the beveling. Now the last part would be adding the details. So that would be stuff like this little box, maybe the text even, the cylinders, and there is the barrel of the gun is actually in the front bit here. In fact, I can show you using a reference image. So there you go. So that's what it kind of looks like. It's got like a big circle going through it, and that's where the bullet actually comes out of. So what that we'll basically be doing the same technique we use for the trigger guard, but instead just making a cylindrical object and putting it in, making the difference of both the top body bit and the holder bit at the bottom. And we'll basically be taking out a huge chunk, and it will make it look a bit better. And then we can probably bevel the circle as well to give it this curved edge. As for anything else, we can do the lines as well on the back, all the screws, these little circle bits. Yeah, the ones here. And yeah. Now I'm going to do the ammo clip quickly, and I'm also going to add on a few little other touches like the trigger as well, and maybe this little back fin thing. I'm not quite sure what that is, but yeah, I will see you after the next fast forward segment. Okay, once you've done all your beveling, we're going to be working on basically putting in the actual the bullet holder, or the bullet hole rather, for the barrel of the gun. Now what we want to do is we want to bring in a cylinder. That'll be down there, and then so my laptop doesn't crash, I'll just use the coordinates. Okay, now that we got that there, we want to basically shape it to about half the size of the front of the gun here, and we want to extend it so it goes all the way back to about here. So I will end the video quickly just so I can do that, because it's quite finicky. So if you do that as well, make sure that it looks like what I'm about to show you, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, you want something that looks like this, so we can basically, oh, there you go. So we can basically bore out a hole all the way through the gun, that will allow us to make the actual barrel of it. You probably want it about this long, so you can have it go all the way into the gun. So about like that. So it will go about halfway through the lower section here. And once you've got that in place, you don't really have to bother naming it, but you can if you want. We're going to be doing the same technique up here with the booleans and difference, but before we do any of that, we need to press Command and D twice, and as you can see, that's made 2 more duplicates of it. So the reason we need to do this is because we've got 3 separate objects here, so the hood, the body, and the holder, and we need to put a hole through all 3 of them. And it's important you do that, otherwise it's not going to work properly. And you can't group them all like this and then make the difference, because it doesn't work like that. You have to do them separately. So what we want to do is first of all select the hood, and then shift select the cylinder, go up to mesh, booleans and difference, and it looks like nothing's happened, but a hole has been made through this, and the reason this is still here is because we've still got 2 duplicates. And then you want to do the same for the body, shift select the cylinder again, go up to mesh, booleans, difference, still looks like nothing's happened. And then we want to select the holder, and then shift select the cylinder again, Go up to mesh, booleans, difference. And as you can see, we've successfully made a hole going all the way through the front of the gun, and that's basically added a little detail. And we can do this for all of the holes and all that, but there's not that many left. But yeah, what we want to do next is probably add on these lines, which I'll show you now. Right, to do these little lines and get these little extra details, basically all you want to do is go into your orthographic front view, and we're going to be doing this. We're going to be sculpting one of these little indents just on its own, just one, using the technique we've been using before. So just a little square or cube, sorry, and then we bring in that cube up, and then we put in the coordinates to get it into our scene. Then we probably want to, yeah, bring that up there. 3.2 maybe. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we want to I'll try and move it a little bit, but it might crash. All right, okay. So now we basically want to make it to the shape of sorry, not all of them. I've been just trying to do all of them. We just want to get one. Okay, now we want to use our what's it called? Where is it rather? How have I lost it? There it is, the insert edge loop. In fact, sorry, we don't even have to do that because there's only 4 corners. So I can just move this. So yeah, we're basically using the same technique as we have been previously. There's not much else to it. But all we're going to do is we're going to be making this shape and basically finding the difference between these two shapes, or this shape and the back of the gun. But what we're going to be doing is duplicating this, so it's okay. Once you've done your shape, you want to go to object mode by holding down right mouse button, select it, and then Command D again, and that will make another one. And then we move that along to this one. Do it again. Doesn't have to be dead on, but you can. It's best to get it as close as possible. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. D, another one. And by duplicating it and only using this this arrow, it will make it so they're all level and it looks alright. Now what you want to do is go back to click the first one and shift click the rest of them, and then you want to go up to edit and then go down to group, and then I guess we just name this indents. Now that we have a group of those, we want to go back to our perspective view, and you can see they're massive, but we don't really need to worry about that too much. The reason there's no gun is because I've hidden everything, as you can see, because it's all faded out. But now what we want to do is unhide everything if you haven't, or if you have, sorry. And now we want to take our indents. We want to move them, which are in object mode. Okay, I see. So we can't move them separately. So we have to shift click and select them all again. So what we're going to do here, we're going to basically have the difference found again, but we want to duplicate this whole group. So do that, and then we take one of them and we push it to the other side. We'll use that one in a minute. Then go back and select all 5 of your indents again. We know that they're perfectly aligned, so we don't have to worry about moving them at all. All we want to do is make sure that this part of them, this edge of them, we need to make sure that's intersecting with this part here. Only slightly though. So about, there you go, see they've gone in. We want them to go about 165. There we go. And now what we want to do is we want to select, I believe, the pistol body, and then we want to select all of these. Actually, to be safe, it's best we select the pistol body and do one at a time. Booleans difference. And now what that should have done, there you go, we've got an indent the shape of our things here. So if we just keep on doing that, select that, go back down to this mesh booleans difference, select that, go back down to this mesh booleans difference. So yeah, you get the idea. This is basically how we make most of the details on the gun, especially when it has to go into the actual structure of it as well. And we'll be doing the same the other side, that's why we need to duplicate it. Alright, now that's there. This is quite important to try and get the indent about the same size. It's probably something I could have checked, but do a bit of guesswork. It was 6.5. I think doing 6.45. Would that work? 35 maybe. Not that good at maths, that probably won't work. Okay, so yeah, we just do the same thing. Go through and make a keep on doing the difference between the two. There we go. That's basically the back lines done. We're going to want to save because there's a lot of progress done. So yeah, that's the lines on the back done. Next, we're going to be doing the cylinder for the laser sight and the I guess the top laser sight. I guess they're both laser sights. Right, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I added the laser sight and the I guess the both laser sights for the pistol, and I beveled both of them also. I'd recommend you make sure that they're not too wide, because that was one of the problems I had initially. I also did the trigger. I beveled that as well, just a few inside areas, and I also did the ammo clip, which is also beveled. Now I think I'm going to go on to maybe doing the text here. Maybe a few details like this little box, the circles, like the screws and all that. And I imagine after that we'd basically be done. Like I said, you can add as much detail as you want. All you got to do is just basically do the techniques we've already been doing and add or take away parts of the geometry that you feel you need to. You could implement this little circle thing if you had a cylinder what was beveled at the end, and then you just make the difference, and you could take away at that. Maybe I'll do that, I guess, so I can show you it. But yeah, I'm going to be doing all these little screws and all that. Now they'll just be cylinders, very short cylinders sitting on top of the geometry, and then right at the end, I'll be showing you how to render it in Mental Ray. That's a pretty easy plugin to use. Well, it's not even a plugin, but you know, we're basically nearing the end here, and I think we've made a pretty good gun. If I select all of it, we'll be able to see it better. So yeah, I think it looks pretty close to what the actual gun looks like. So yeah, we're just going to be doing some final touches now, and I guess I'll go through how to do this box here, and we can basically use the same technique we're going to use for the box to do these screws as well, if you want to do them. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first of all, we need to make sure whereabouts is that placed. It's on the holder, so we can get rid of everything except the holder. Hide everything, and we go back up and hide the holder, which is weird because it's not appeared. Oh, I see. Okay, that's not actually the holder. That is. Okay. So now what you want to do is go back to our orthographic front view. So we've got that, and we want to make it so it's only just a wireframe. So you can see where it is on the actual object. We want to go up to our cube. And basically all we're doing is exactly what we've been doing all this time. We're adding another object, and we're just going to place it on top of the gun here. So let me get that up into the actual... Oh. Too far down. There we go. I'll try and move this, but there's a chance it will crash. Please don't. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Right. So now we just want to fit it to this. We may not even need to do that much vertices. Yeah, we basically got it. In fact, we could be fine with this, and we just bevel the edges so it curves like the actual object does. So if we do that, we're going to hide it, and we can hide the holder again quickly. And okay, now what we want to do is go to perspective, so we can see. Actually, no, we probably want the holder up so we can see how it looks on the object. I don't think it goes that far out. It definitely doesn't go out. Well, yeah, I guess it would go out the other side. But yeah, it's not going to be that big. About that, so we can see it, but it's not sticking all the way out. Something else what's helpful is if you want to select all the edges of around an object, if you hold down Shift and double click, Sorry, if you just don't, you just need to double click. Have a bit of a moment there. I don't know what's going on. Okay, whatever. There is a way to do it, but I'm forgetting now, apparently. Okay, now we've got that all done. We'll do the other side afterwards. We want to go up to Mesh, Edit Mesh, and Bevel. Now we want to make sure that the fractions are pretty low, otherwise it's going to do this. There we go. Do 0.1 fractions, segments are fine. But that's beveled, we can probably... I'm sorry, I just realised I did it the completely wrong way. Alright, we've got to do these ones. That's what we've got to do. And then we won't even have to bother with doing the others. The other side. So it will just affect through the object. Alright, we go up to Edit Mesh, Bevel. There we go. 0.2. There we go. That's basically it. I mean, if you want to do the grate kind of structure on here, where it's loads of lines going across, you can. All you've got to do is just make one line duplicated like we did with the lines. I won't show on this, but the lines back here. And yeah, I guess what we'll do next would be the text. So what we just did there with the square is exactly what you can do with all of these, but with a cylinder, using one of these. So if I show you how to do that quickly, you can do it on all the rest if you want. So we want to bring a cylinder in, bring it up to in front of us. It's pretty big. Let's make it very small. I'm going to go back into orthographic views because perspective isn't helpful here. I'm going to hide our holder. And we want to turn this towards us. Okay, I just turned it around. There we go. Make it smaller. Move it and hopefully it doesn't crash. Let's make it smaller so we can see what we're doing. And now we try and center it as best as possible. Then we can extend it to the outside. Right, now what we want to do is basically go to our perspective view, bring our holder back up. You can see it's inside it, but that's not what we want. We want oh God, what one was it? There we go. We want to drag it out until it's just on the surface. There we go. So we want it like really small. About that. But also it's probably worth with the edge. Yeah, okay, that was the thing I was trying to explain previously, where if you hold shift and double click on one of the things, it will select the whole thing. And now we want to, we just want to bevel this. Bring the fractions down to 0.1. There we go. We got ourselves a little screw. Or whatever that is, I'm not quite sure what that is. But yeah, now if we bring everything else back in. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we've added these two, and it's added a tiny bit of detail to it. But once you do all of the object with all the little, probably not these. You could do these though, by using the difference, the mesh booleans difference. If you make a little hole into them, you could yeah, that's basically it. You can add all these details like we've said before. And what I'll probably do is I'll go off now and I'll do all these details, or as many as I can see, Maybe this. I guess I'll have a look. But yeah, and when I come back, we will do the text, and that'll be it. Oh, and we got to render it as well. So we're getting close to the end now. Oh yeah, make sure you save as well, because these details take a long time, and it's not worth losing them. All right, I'll see. Alright, I've been having a few hard drive issues, so I haven't been able to record me adding all this detail, but basically what I've done is put in a load more details. So we've got the safety switch, we've got the, I'm not quite sure what that is, but you know, the indents, the handle, grip, the little box thing we did, the laser sight, and there's a few screws as well. And what I'm going to show you now is basically how to add the text and place it on the gun, and also the rendering options, because we're basically there. We've basically done it. So yeah. So what you want to do with to put text in is you go up to create. Sorry, you go up to edit. Actually, no, you do go up to create. Sorry, you go into text, and for this, you in this little text under text curves history, you want to put what your actual text is. So I'm going to put book of VFX. There you go. I mean, that's basically the object. We can add words, and it'll put more. Oh, what did it do that? It'll put more. Where have you gone? All right, ignore that. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we can. Basically, this is just a normal object, and we can scale this up as much as we want. We can go massive, or we can go small. And what we want to do, I'm going to have to transform it, or translate it to my gun, because I can't. There's some, like I said, problems with my hard drive. What we can do, if we go to orthographic, we can line it up with the actual text on the gun. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay, that's good. Luckily it didn't. Come on, don't crash. Alright, cool. So yeah, you can choose whatever font you want. It doesn't have to say Booker or anything. It can be whatever you want. I'd recommend you put your own signature kind of thing on it. And yeah, from here, all we've got to do is basically go back to perspective and shade everything so we can see it. And then all we want to do, since that's safely on it, we want it to be as close as we possibly can get it to the edge. So maybe that. And then we want to duplicate it, so Control D, Command D, sorry, and then push it through. And then what we're going to have to do is flip it around. I'd recommend you just do it up here. Put 180 in this. That's perfect. And then what we can do is so try our best to line it up. In fact, we don't even have to try our best. If we go to our front view again, we can literally match it up like that. So it's directly behind it, but it's readable from both sides. Now what we've got to do is push it in as far as it can go. There we go. There we go. So there you go. It's not really coming out the object at all, but you can see it. Cool. Alright, so that's basically the text, and we're about done with the gun. What we want to do now is definitely save it. You can see I've saved about 42 versions of this as I've been going through this. And what we want to do now is up here where a while back when we selected modelling, we want to go down to rendering. See, it's changed all these options up here. Go to render, render settings, and now using this command up here, this render using, we want to make sure it's on. I do not have mental ray for some reason. Okay, we can use RenderMan since we likely have it, but in the case you don't have RenderMan, which is a plugin, a render plugin, just select mental ray here, and you want to do the exact same layout as I'm doing. So you want to go to, usually TIFF is a good one, but OpenEXR is fine as well. We want to have it so it's name.hashtag.ext, and then we want to set frame padding to, or it doesn't really matter, we can do 3. We're not rendering any animation or anything, so we just want to stick this up to HD 1080 and make sure the renderable camera is persp. And also, if we are using RenderMan, we come out of this and we want to go to dome light. And now what we want to do is we want to use a color map, which is basically something which determines the light in the scene. So I haven't got this prepared, but I could probably find it. Fracture. It might be. No. I think yeah, city background copy, I think it is. Yeah, there we go. So basically you need an image, a HDRI image, is like a 360-degree shot. And what that'll do will light up the scene using the whites and the darker colours of the scene. So what we do now is if we save again, increment and save, now we can delete the image plane. And if we go into IPR render, get a good position on the gun you wanna see the rendering, and you go to IPR render. So it might take a while, but we'll see how it goes. Anything? My laptop's very slow, so if you give it a few seconds. There we go. It's taking quite a while because we're rendering at a very we're like doing a 1080, so it's going to be quite high quality. So there we go. We can kind of see already that it's starting to take shape, and it looks pretty good. If you want to texture it, since we've basically dissected it into different parts, like this, the hood is a separate part, the handle's a separate part, all the different pieces like the trigger, these little boxes and all that. You could probably find textures online for all these different things if you want to texture it, and you could probably get it looking pretty decent. But yeah, we've basically done it. Once we render this out, this is basically our final product. And I don't think it looks too bad. It's pretty accurate to the actual pistol. But yeah, that's basically it. We've successfully modelled this, and thanks for watching. I guess if there's any problems in class, let me know. And yeah.